Hello, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? I'm fine, thank you. So the Fed cuts rates. What does it mean to gold? Absolutely nothing. It's what they charge the banks to borrow money. So when I go in and I need 20 grand and they call the Fed for the 20 grand so I can get it, the Fed charges them 5 or 4.5% now to borrow the money. That's what this is. So we got gold. Now gold hit 29.98 right after 2 o'clock, goes to 25.98. And I go into the pool and I come out and I see this bullshit at 4 o'clock, where it dropped down to 25.48. And then it recovered $10 back to 25.58. But it'll be back to 26 tomorrow. So there must be a hell of a lot of resistance at 2,600 because it's going 25.73 straight up to 25.97. There's no reason for it to go down. This is the thing. It's all derivative. It's all nothing to do with the free market. It's just bullshit. So that's how derivatives work. So they were able to deliver it down $50, and then we got 10 back. So overall, down 15 for the day is not bad, but we're waiting on, we're waiting for it to come to jump back, which it will. So I got some videos to play, but let's talk first. I think I'm going to do for football in the classes, any class I do for economics or that, not the live ones, the free ones, but the ones that I teach privately. I think I might just do them on Zoom or on Teams. I mean, I don't really need YouTube for those because I need the email address and I can just email you the Teams or Zoom link, and then we can have 3, 4, 5 people on there. The thing I like about here, I can have 100 people on here and chat with them. I'm not sure what we do on Zoom or Teams. I know we can have quite a few, but we'll see. So what does the Fed rate cuts mean? In general, it's a problem because you're making the interest rates drop. You're trying, you're in a recession, so you're trying to stimulate the economy with interest rates, which you can't do. The economy is made by Say's law. It's about people working and buying things, and you've got to kill the regulations, kill these tariffs, kill these sanctions, because you cut off China and Russia from selling to us. You're killing yourself. There's a lot of lost jobs. So if people aren't working, people can't spend. You got a recession. You got a depression. That was the depression of the 1930s, caused by the government, the Tariff Act, and then just terrible FDR with terrible decisions one after the other. And that's really the problem. So with that said, what? Sorry, I'm a little tired. Football's there's more and more involved. So what does it mean? It really doesn't mean anything, because they're looking at it the wrong way. It's not prices. So they raise interest rates to slow the economy because they think then if the economy slows, prices go down, and that's inflation is prices. Well, they're fucked. They don't understand it. It's printing the money. That's why you don't even really care about what the Fed rate does. It doesn't matter. You still printed $150 trillion any way you look at it. You just printed $1 trillion to pay for the debt. You're fucked either way around. So there's nothing you can do there. Gold doesn't care because gold's manipulated in its paper. So it's not free market. So what the Fed does has no bearing on gold. I think what the Fed does gets like China and Japan and all these countries to sell their dollars because you've made them cheaper. And if the rates go down, the value goes up in the bonds. So I think they're losing money. I'm not sure on this one. So I think it's a negative. I know countries were selling their treasuries, and when they do that, they buy gold because there's no other place to go to it. You buy when you get out of dollars, where else can you go? What else can be there? Hey, Luke, how are you today? So we were $25.99, and then all of a sudden, a $50 derivative hit. So there must be a lot of derivatives about 2,600, and we didn't cover because they did it so late in the day. They did it at 2:00. Everybody else was gone. That's exactly when Europe leaves. Asia kicks in now, so look for it to start moving up. And it's funny at like 5:30 when it closes, it just does this until Asia picks it up at about 6:30 or 7. Well, it didn't smash. It went down $50, but now it went back up 10. Like I said, it's 25.60, and I think tomorrow they'll see a lot of buying because it's cheap. And so, like what I've been noticing is Tuesday's the drop day, Thursday's the buy day. So I'm assuming it'll be bought. Again, if you notice when they do it after Asia and Europe are gone. They want to buy it, right? So tomorrow they see it cheap and they're going to buy it back up. So that's all it is. Yeah, we know it's a game, and we know we're waiting for the physical to take over. So yeah, but it's not anything we don't expect. And yeah, it was damn close to 2,600 for, I saw the announcement, which those idiots don't know what they're doing. And then I see gold, and it's going to 2,600. Yes, we'll get to 26 and a quarter, 26.50. And so once it breaks 26, I think it's gone. Because you can see all the resistance at 26. So if we can get to 26.10, then we probably see 30 at that point, or 3,000 at that point. Well, we know they control it to a point. There's too much buying. That's why they were controlling it. Now with all the buying, and that's the thing, you do it after everybody's gone, then you can do this. But then here comes Asia and Europe. They're going to be buying at these low prices. So to them, as long as they're fine up till 3,000, it's probably a little bit more. But we know what game we're being played, and we know it's gonna blow up. And again, our focus is COMEX, and that hasn't changed. And who knows what they'll say about gold? Oh, look at this is stimulating the economy, so gold will go down. Like, yeah, it has nothing to do with it. So the Fed rate cut has nothing to do with gold. And the economy. So what it shows is the economy's in a recession, which we've known for years. And him doing it shows he doesn't have a clue what he's doing, which we know. And I don't know what he's thinking. Okay, we'll cut rates to stimulate the economy. All the jobs are temporary jobs or McDonald's jobs. I was watching something on the minimum wage, and all it does is cause layoffs. You're a business, right? You're selling tennis rackets. So you do your budget and you go, I can afford to pay a couple of kids $12 an hour, right? That's it. And now the government comes and says, well, you got to pay them 20. And you go, okay, which one of you guys is leaving? Because I can pay two guys 12 each, it's 24, so I can only pay one to 20. So they try to do this help these minimum wage people, and they're such idiots. This is why laissez-faire, leave it alone, get the government out of it. You cause more unemployment with your communist crap. I was watching something that they're just calling Kamala Harris out on her communist man. Everything's from the Communist Manifesto. We'll have, I'm just giving away everything. You know, it's all socialism, communism, handouts. Oh, have you a middle class? What are you going to do to fix it? I'll price control it. That won't fix it. That'll destroy it. Fucking idiots, but they understand that. Until there's no physical left, with a 50 basis point cut, gold should have gone up $50. Gold did go well. It had hit 2,600, but then the $50 drop 10 minutes later. Well, it was from 2 to 4. I go in the pool. I'm all excited. It's 2,600. And then I check it when I get out of the pool. It's 2,550. I'm like, well, what the fuck? At first I thought, is it 2,650? And yeah, but you know, we understand the game. It's not a big deal. We know in the long run that the brics will get it into the 5,000-6,000 range. So you know, and we need to blow up that's why we need to blow up COMEX, because this is not a market economy. People are losing money because these idiots are doing derivatives. What the fuck is that all about? My banker buddies are loving the cut. Good for their binds and fund investors, funds and bonds and funds. Why is it good for it? What do they think the interest rate cut? What are they so excited about? That's going to stimulate the economy, and the stock market's going to go up. The phony stock market that's printed, that gets fed money from JP Morgan every day to show this $41,000 bullshit fake price. So really, it didn't help inflation at all. Does it stimulate the economy? No, because there's nobody working. It's not, you know, oh now I'm gonna, okay, if you read the signs, oh, the recession's over, now I can start hiring. Really? Everything's still expensive. The recession didn't move anywhere. Interest rates really don't do anything. All it is what the Fed loans the money to the banks. So how is that good for the economy? I don't understand. So the banks can charge, get less back on their interest that they have to give. Are you seriously going to lower your mortgage or car loans or commercial loans? You're going to lower those? You can't lower those because those are controlled because of inflation. You got to charge 10% because the money's not worth anything. Nothing's changed there. The money still isn't worth anything. The interest rate doesn't control shit. It's the money. You printed too much, and you can have whatever interest rate you want. It's not gonna relax the fact you printed all this money. And that's what the inflation is. So the money has no value. I was talking to this guy at the bike today, and I really pissed him off. I felt really good about it. I like tilting people from poker. So we start talking, and I'm watching the ticker. He's on the next bike, and I don't know him. I just I go, man, there's, you know, time to move out of the country. And he's so we start getting into it, and I go, well, it's all just monopoly money. He says, well, how do you know? And I go, I'm an Austrian economist. And you're not an economist. I says, yeah. Where'd you go to school? I go, well, Walsh College. It's a business school in Michigan. I got a master's, and he didn't believe me. Oh, no, you don't. You're not an economist. What the fuck? You know, you're always doom and gloom. Well, that's because I know what's going on. The boat's sinking. Yeah, we got to get off the boat. And you're gonna tell me the boat's not sinking. So I said that to him. I said, so the iceberg hits the boat, and the water's coming in, and I'm saying get off, and you're saying, the boat won't sink. I mean, it was a perfect moron I was talking to. So he starts saying that I'm not an economist. So I told him to fuck off. I really did. I said, fuck off. Don't call me a liar. Why would you say you don't know me? Why, if I say I'm an economist, why would you doubt my word? So I take out my phone and I go to Teaserking, where in my title it says Austrian economist, but he didn't want to read it. He didn't want to see that I really was. So I basically said, you're an idiot. And when I was finished, I just walked away. I was like, okay, so if you don't have any gold, you're sitting on monopoly money. And he said, well, you're just doom and gloom. I'm not doom and gloom. What I'm real. I'm honest. What the fuck are you talking? The fire, if the house is burning down, should I not say it's burning down? Well, no, the house is sturdy. Yeah, that you see the fire, but it won't destroy the house. I mean, what are you supposed to say when the house is burning? The house is burning. Well, the boat's sinking. What do you want me to say? That's what's happening. It's not my fault. I didn't sink the boat. Cheaper rates, more buying. By whom? Who has money to buy? Because it all comes back to the inflation. More buying between banks. Why? What are they buying? The bank's job is to sell loans. Okay, so I give them 100 grand. You give them 100 grand. They got 200 grand to loan out. Who are they giving the money to? Who's taking a loan? Who has money to take a loan? I mean, it sounds good, but they're believing the inflation is 2%, right? Which we know it's 20. Well, you can't. It's really not even a percentage, but let's say it's 20%. So how is there more activity with banks? Who are they loaning the money to? Are you going to go out and buy a house now or a car because the interest rate went down 0.25% or 0.5%? Are you going to buy a real estate and buy a office space? No, nothing's going to happen. At the end of the day, the inflation is the dollar hasn't changed. Interest rates at whatever they want to make them haven't changed the scope. They're missing the point. It's inflation, unemployment's getting high, so we'll cut rates to lower. And the guy does like 0.5%, and he wants immediate results. It takes 6 months for that rate to kick into the market. By then, the dollar will be gone anyway. So they're in big trouble. And you understand, there is no buying between banks. Banks don't buy. They just have loans unless they take a loan from the other bank. But normally they take a loan from the Federal Reserve, which is why that's what the Fed funds rate is, to borrow money from let's say JP Morgan, to borrow money from the Federal Reserve. They're going to charge them 4.5 or 4.75 or whatever the rate is now. Totally meaningless, because they still have to print more money for the debt. They have to, there's all this credit card debt rolling in. Nobody wants the dollar. You haven't really fixed the problem. And the problem is the inflation. You haven't fixed it. You don't even understand what it is. You think it's 2%. You don't include housing and food, and somehow it's 2%. Well, let's just include, what can we include? We're not going to include rent. We're not going to include housing. We're not going to include food. So what is in there? Tires. I mean, it's incredibly stupid. It's not even correct. Even why would you go out 1 year over year? 2%. We fixed it. You're not even looking at the problem. So that's really the problem. There was a movie called Disclosure with Donald Sutherland and Michael Douglas. And Michael Douglas is working as an IT manager. And it's the stupidest movie because they're trying to do a merger and they're setting him up to fail at the time they're doing the merger, which makes no sense. Why would they do that? And anyway, it gets down to some sexual harassment case, which has nothing to do with anything. Why it was in the movie, I have no idea. And then Uh, one of the managers is on Michael Douglas's side. Everybody else is against him. And so he thinks he won the sexual harassment suit. And the manager says, fix the problem. That's not the problem. You're not looking at the problem. Fix the problem, which was there's a production line down in Indonesia that they had switched the components on, and that was fucking up. But he didn't know about it because the boss had changed it on him, and he was going to be the scapegoat, which made no sense in the middle of a merger. So that's what I'm saying here. Fix the problem. The problem is the inflation. You printed too much money. The solution is you need gold-backed currency. This Fed rate is absolutely meaningless to whatever's going on. It doesn't mean a damn thing. What does it mean? Did it stop inflation? No. Did it stop a recession? No. Did it stop anything? No. I mean, it's an arbitrary number, 5, 4.5. What's the difference? There is no difference. You're not, there's not going to be, companies opening up. You've caused the dollar's worthless. So it costs you more to do everything. Hasn't changed. So they're playing this game with inflation going, it's down to 2%. We can lower rates and stimulate the economy and get everybody back working. Out of their fucking minds. It's like the Three Stooges running the Fed. That rate has no bearing on what you've done. You've fucked the money up by printing it to death. And that's the key that nobody understands. You've ruined the value of the dollar. I was talking to the guy about the cake that I like to talk about. So I says, well, it's like if you ate a piece of chocolate cake every day, you'd obviously, gain weight and get sick. And he goes, well, not if you worked out more and you ate smaller pieces. And I go, oh my God, you're an idiot, aren't you? I couldn't believe how stupid this guy was. So I enjoyed just drilling him and just saying, it's just I love my favorite line. You're too stupid to talk to. You're trying to make a point. They don't want to listen, and I'm sitting there going, "What an idiot!" Right? So I'm watching, the market go up because of this for no reason. The market's not fairly priced. So that's what we have. But even with more buying between banks, Luke, it doesn't matter. You're not going to go buy a house or a car now. You're waiting for the gold. You're waiting for the dollar to collapse. What does that have to do with the interest rates? Did that help the dollar from collapsing? Absolutely not. Is it going to help the market? Absolutely not. Because what the inflation does is it destroys the value of the dollar. So now it's monopoly money. You haven't solved the problem. You've kept it where it's still bad. Right? You did nothing to solve the problem there. So that needs to still be addressed. You still need the gold. The stupid war with Russia, I don't know how the U.S. thinks they can win. They can't. They don't even have an army. If we actually went there, we only have 30,000 troops, and we don't have anything because we've given all our missiles and everything to Ukraine. We have nothing. We couldn't beat, we couldn't beat Canada in a war right now. So that's the problem. So yeah, we saw gold hit 25.98 or whatever. It'll be back there. It'll be back there tomorrow. Because the U.S. shot their load by doing the derivative, right? They shot it went down 50, but then it came back 10. And now it's Asia's turn to buy. And they do not want a low gold price. So they're going to be buying the hell out of it. So we'll see how we are at the end of the show. Let's see what we got. Silver was up over 31 at the same time, 25.58. So if you look at the silver chart, you're going to really cry here. Look at it. It went up to 31.13 at like 2:15, And when it went down, it went all the way down to 29.78. It went down like $1.40. Now it's been back to 30.19, 30.20. But look at that bullshit. It's sitting at 30 and a half. So it's just ridiculous. But we'll see it. I think it'll go up because it's a steal. They'll buy it at these cheap prices. All right, So it's an $800 million people in debt crisis in China. This is in China. More than 23 million people are in serious doo-doo, unemployed, I believe. So China's really fucked. So everybody says China's got the second leading economy. Their economy is about as strong as ours. It's worthless. But they have all the gold. I mean, they're waiting for brics the 22nd of October to bring out the gold. Hey, Pat. Well, it's just soon COMEX will blow up because what's happening is China and India and Saudi Arabia are buying silver off COMEX. They're just going to the mines and buying it. And I assume they'll do the same with gold. Well, they'll just start going to the mines and buying it if you can find any. See, that's going to be very bad. So all these rich guys like Luke's friend, they're not going to have a lifeboat to go to. This is yesterday's show, Luke. There's no lifeboat to go to. I think you were here. Pat wasn't here. So in other words, when your $4 million man who's down to 1 million, who will then realize, this is how stupid he is. He thinks it's a good thing they lowered the rates. It's more inflation. It's more money printing. It's not the answer. It's probably the worst thing that could happen because they never stopped inflation. So they're going to realize that they're fucked with their monopoly money. And then what are they going to do? They're going to look for a lifeboat, right? Oh, I got to get out the dollars. There's nowhere to go with it. You can't go. There's good luck finding the gold. And what's the price going to be of it? 10,000. So how does he? Okay, I can afford it. Well, can you? Your money's worthless and nobody wants it. So if nobody wants it, it means it's worthless twice. So how is he going to buy his gold? He can't get on the lifeboat. He'll have to buy a lot of silver, but he'll never find that much silver. So he's fucked any way he looks at it. All these rich people are fucked, and they don't know it yet. Shanghai's truly done this time. 12,000 firms exit, 5 million unemployed flee. So China's having a lot of fun. It's up to what we're saying. You got people in debt. Let's watch Egon first. There's one here I was watching. Russian banks lack yuan. Sanctions impact China. I don't buy any of that shit. Just print more yuan. I mean, it's not hard to print more yuan, right? We print out money.
By 90%, and that was nothing compared to the risk then and the magnitude of the problems were nothing compared to today. Today it's global. It's every single country in the world. It's everywhere. No one can escape from this. So you will have that collapse, and what will exacerbate it is, of course, the derivatives. We don't know exactly how big they are. We know that the figures that we're seeing are not real. The BIS, the Bank of International Settlement, Central Bank's Bank in Basel, Switzerland, they halved the figure a few years ago from 1.3 quadrillion to 600 trillion. My view is if you take all the over-the-counter derivatives, we're probably at 2 quadrillion of derivatives. Just as energy is important for the economy, derivatives support almost every single financial transaction in the marketplace. Everything has a link to derivatives. And a lot of products, as you know, today, there are no stocks in them whatsoever. They just have derivatives. It's just fake paper that's been created. And they call it stocks, bonds, etc. But they're just paper that have been created.
All right, Russian banks nearly out of yuan. I don't know if it's worth watch. We'll watch a little of this, but I
following sanctions imposed on Russia,
I think they can just print more.
Other Western nations over its invasion of Ukraine, while Moscow has moved away from the US dollars and euros in international trade, opting instead for the Chinese yuan. However, in June, the US expanded its sanctions on Russia's military-industrial sector, increasing the risk of secondary sanctions on Chinese companies doing business with Moscow. As a result, many Chinese banks are now hesitant to transfer yuan to Russian banks for foreign trade payments, causing a severe shortage of yuan in Russia's major banks. This has created significant challenges for Chinese exporters in receiving payments from Russia, pushing Sino-Russian trade into difficulties over the past few months. In light of these challenges, reports suggest that Chinese traders are finding ways to bypass sanctions and resolve the issues of payment difficulties in Sino-Russian trade. One example is EasyBiz, a Chinese cross-border e-commerce logistic provider which is now partnering with smaller banks to avoid the effects of sanctions on international payment system, SWIFT. These selected banks are not part of the SWIFT network, allowing them to process transactions between China and Russia without the fear of sanctions. Additionally, in June, China introduced 4 new banks, including Jilin Bank, Changchun Rural Commercial Bank, Changchun Development Bank, and Yanbian Rural Commercial Bank, to help ease payment issues in trade with Russia. These banks will collaborate with Hanchan Bank using its ruble payment channel to facilitate transactions. To overcome cross-border payment barriers, Russian merchants have adopted another strategy, purchasing gold and shipping it to Hong Kong. Once in Hong Kong, the gold is sold for cash, which is then deposited into Hong Kong bank accounts and used to pay Chinese suppliers. Some Russian businesses have also resorted to using intermediary chains in third countries to process transactions, bypassing Chinese banks' compliance checks. However, this has led to a significant increase in transaction fees, which has risen from nearly 0 to 6%. According to a report from Fortune, by June, the yuan accounted for 99.6% of Russia's foreign exchange market. Russian commercial banks have also ramped up their insurance of yuan-dominated corporate loans. At an economic forum, Sberbank CEO Herman Gref stated that the bank could not issue more yuan loans due to a lack of foreign currency reserve to back the positions. With yuan liquidity from China drying up, Russian companies have turned to central bank to exchange yuan. However, the Russian central bank has urged commercial banks to limit yuan-dominated corporate loans. The Russian central bank reported that yuan loans are not simply replacing the roles of the US dollar and euros, but instead have expanded significantly. A central bank survey revealed that a quarter of Russian exporters face difficulties with foreign counterparts, including blocked or rejected payments, even when dealing with countries considered friendly. About half of the exporters said these issues were worse in the second quarter than in the first. Reports show that Sino-Russian trade relations have grown significantly in recent years, with trade volumes steadily increasing. In 2023, bilateral trade between China and Russia reached $240 billion, with Russian imports from China rising nearly 47% to $111 billion. However, the complexity and uncertainty of foreign trade payments have become major challenges for many businesses. According to Russian Business Daily, international sanctions and changes in financial policies have forced companies trading with Russia to seek new solutions. Russia's strict foreign exchange controls requires businesses to follow complex compliance procedures, making transactions more difficult. Traditional payment channels no longer meet the demand for fast, secure transactions. Many companies report delays and high transaction fees, significantly reducing.
But this is what BRICS is going to solve, because they'll come out with the BRICS gold-backed currency, and they'll have it. So I think that's what they're waiting. Russia and China are just preparing for, okay, we're going on BRICS, so we don't care about this. That's probably what they'll do. Here's China's economic collapse.
F-Series. In the television industry, there's an open secret. Many TV stations are struggling to pay salaries. As a result, they've allowed their hosts, including those from comedy programs, yue operas, and Peking opera programs, to become live streamers and sell products. Essentially, they are told to find ways to make money on their own, which is now permitted. Some hosts from Shanghai TV stations have been broken down in tears during live broadcast, saying that the stations can no longer pay their salaries, which is why they've turned to live streaming sales. I believe their tears are genuine. After all, they've been in the industry for so many years and are not young anymore. Many of those Shanghai TV stations are older than me. I was born in 1981, and most of them are from the 70s. Younger hosts in the 90s are quite rare. Don't be fooled by how young some female hosts appear on TV. Many are already in their 50s. However, they're not as pitiful as they seem. Those who get into Shanghai TV have connections and backing. Having worked there for so many years, they probably managed to secure properties worth tens of millions.
Anyway, so they have 5 million jobless in China. So there's the disasters all over Russia, China. It's not a pretty sight. What else? I think I showed you Egon from 2 days ago.
Challenges. If the U.S. does slip into...
This is BRICS.
Today, we'll dive into how the BRICS nations and Brazil, Russia, India,
we know who
China,
the fuck they are.
And South Africa are reshaping global trade and challenging U.S. dominance. What does the bold new payment system mean for countries looking to move away from the U.S. dollar? Plus, we'll discuss the potential economic fallout for the U.S. as it faces rising tensions and the looming threat of tariffs. As we uncover these dynamics, you'll see how the world is shifting and why this story is just beginning. But before we get into the details, hit that like button and subscribe to Tech Revolution. We're all about bringing you the latest and greatest updates, so you don't want to miss out. All right, let's get right into it. Let's chat about BRICS, a group that includes Brazil, Russia, India,
I hate when they do this.
and South Africa. This collection of growing economies is really making waves around the world. Recently, they announced a new payment system that surprised the U.S. This is a big deal. It means that a lot of countries are looking to trade without relying on the U.S. dollar, which has been the main currency for quite a while. This shift could really change how countries do business with each other. Now,
if you're getting old like me and you want to sell your home near Detroit or anywhere on this map,
business with each other. Now, picture this. Countries trading directly with each other without having to convert their money into dollars first. That's what the BRICS pay system is all about. And here's the exciting part. 159 countries are on board. That's a huge chunk of the globe. This new payment system is set to launch during the 2024 summit from October 22nd to 24th. And it's thrilling to think about how it could reshape international trade. Russian officials have confirmed that these countries are ready to dive into the BRICS pay system. This clearly shows that many nations are eager to find new ways to manage their finances, moving away from systems dominated by the U.S. With so many countries interested, it's a strong sign that they want to take charge of their own economic futures.
Of course.
So, let's talk about what the BRICS pay system really is. It's a blockchain-based platform that lets countries trade using their local currencies. This means Brazil can trade with Russia without needing to convert their money into dollars first. For countries like Russia, which have faced tough economic sanctions, this is a total game changer. It makes trading easier and could even save businesses money when dealing with international trade. Don't forget to mark your calendars for the 2024 summit. That's where we expect the official launch of the BRICS pay system. Countries like Venezuela, Malaysia, and Turkey are already in talks to join this exciting new platform. But it's not just about making transactions. It's about building stronger relationships and creating a more connected world. The buzz around this summit is growing, and many nations see it as a chance to redefine their economic futures. Here's where things get interesting. Turkey, a NATO member, is looking to join BRICS, which could really shake up global politics. Turkey's interest shows they want to strengthen ties with non-Western allies, and this could change how they interact with NATO and the US. It's a clear sign that countries are searching for alternatives to traditional power structures, and that could have big implications for global alliances.
Well, it's because it's gold back. The guy fails to mention that. And I think there'll be two. There'll be the one where countries can go, but then there'll be the big one where it's 40% backed by gold. And that's the key to it. So that's what we're excited about. Plus Saudi Arabia wanting to get paid in gold for their oil. That'll be another boost. So that's where the demand for gold coming in, as well as the dollar collapsing. So yeah, we're a little bit frustrated. We had 2,600 today. And I got a feeling, well, we crack 2,600 tomorrow. It's 2,700. It's going to be like in a few days. There won't be anything stopping it. So that's what we're looking at. Let's see if there's any other videos. We don't need to go much further into that video. It's hard to watch these like silver stacker shows because they're a bunch of idiots. So I tend not to watch them. I tend to watch like 2 minutes of it and then realize they don't know what they're talking about. So I was watching some of this. Mostly I'm busy with my football. This is a good one, this castor oil one. My foot's feeling good. So if you have any pain, you put castor oil. It's like olive oil. You just put it, you get a little, washcloth, and you fold it and you put in a little bit on it and let it sink in. And then you rub it all over, your feet or your back or your shoulder, whatever hurts. And it penetrates. And like my foot hasn't given me problems. I put castor oil on it for 4 days and now my foot's fine. And then the other thing I take is that Celtic salt and cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is great. A blood thinner. It tastes good on the foods. I've been putting on salads. I never did this before. Cayenne pepper and Celtic salt, and there's got a spring to it, but the Celtic salt's got 82 minerals in it. So maybe that's why my feet and my back are better. I don't know, but I've not been healthier in a long time where my back would hurt, my feet would hurt. Not anymore. I'm walking and I'm like, wow, I'm walking pretty good. Did my swim. Like I said, I met the idiot on the bike and it was nice telling him to fuck off. He called me a liar. I mean, I was like, you've got to be kidding. That one kid did finally email me. I forgot Monday. Really? It's like forgetting to go to work on Monday? He says, can we do Friday? And I said, well, as long as you don't stand me up, yeah. So I think what I might do, because there's problems doing a private chat here. You got it, because you guys can't chat if it's private unless I do some strange things. So I'm just going to do on that for the football class. I'm just going to do either Zoom or I'll do Microsoft Teams. I'll do Zoom or Teams, whatever's easier. And because you got to sign in with your email anyway. So I'll just email you and then they can, then I can, because the problem is nobody could chat last week for the football. So this way you can chat, and we'll go from there. Luke, so whack rates go down, gold goes down. Rates go up, gold goes down. Something doesn't. Well, it's manipulated. That's what you're using logic. No, gold should never go down, because the only reason is if somebody's selling it. Why would you sell it? Right? We know the boat's sinking. Why? So why would you get off the lifeboat back onto the boat when you know the boat's sinking? Right? So it's a totally different. There's no correlation at all. It's just strictly all the central banks in Russia and China are buying gold, especially now. Russia's short yuan. Well, go print more yuan. I mean, Jesus. Or pay them in another currency or something. Pay them if they can't take rubles. Pay them in gold, or I don't know. But the yuan's currency is not strong, as we see. All those people employed, the banks not giving the people their money. The yuan's they're all worthless. All these paper currencies are worthless. So that's why I kind of watch it and I go, it doesn't matter. It's worthless. So when we see the gold come out, then we'll have a better understanding. Let's see, where's our gold now? The site's not updating the way it should sometimes. Oh, there we go. 25.56. So it's basically just going sideways. But Asia should not get up to 20, at least 25.90 by the time we wake up. That's the first thing I do is I check that, then I check my email, and then I check my girls' WhatsApps. Anyway, so really that's what it is. So the Fed rate cuts are totally meaningless, because you're not going to loan money cheaper in a heavily inflated thing, because then you're going to get paid back in cheaper dollars. So you must have a high interest rate to do that. So the banks don't know what they're doing. If they lower rates on mortgages and cars, they're out of their fucking minds. I mean, these people don't know what they're doing. The banks should not be lowering the rates. Inflation's much higher than they think. I mean, the dollar, how does the dollar be worth more? So what are you saying? The rates went down, so the dollar's worth more? Why? How can the dollar possibly be worth more now than it was a year ago? That makes no sense. You keep printing. You just took $1 trillion to pay a debt payment. How is the dollar worth more? You're printing money to put it in the stock market. That hurts the value of the dollar. It doesn't happen. So nobody's tracking the dollar being printed is the same as nobody's tracking that paper gold versus physical. And then what you're saying, Luke, is that the interest rates are going down, which doesn't mean anything. I mean, the interest rates do not correlate with gold one bit. The lowering interest rate, how does that help inflation? So you think inflation is 2%, so you're going to lower interest rates to stimulate the economy. Did it really stimulate the economy? Did the inflation go away? It's probably still 30, 40%, whatever, however you want to measure it. They still printed 150 trillion. It's still 150 trillion anyway, but Sunday. Interest rates don't matter. You printed the money to death. They're not worth anything. So you're on the Titanic and now you're 90% in the water. And you're like, yeah, we cut interest rates. Well, yeah, but the boat's still 90% in the water. I mean, that's basically it. The boat didn't move up out of the water. It's still 90% in the water. I guess that's maybe the easiest way to show it. What you do with interest rates is like finding a lifeboat to put in the water. I mean, the boat's still sinking, right? I think this Titanic correlation is the best. The boat's sinking. It's 90% underwater, and they're going, oh, we found a lifeboat. Oh, yeah, that's great. There's 1,500 people and another 20 get into the lifeboat. But you're still 90% in the water, and you're still better off in a gold or silver lifeboat than you are in the dollar. So it has really no impact on inflation, on gold, on silver. The price should go up, and that's what it really did. I mean, when it did it went up $30 to $25.97. But there must be a shitload of derivatives loaded at 2,600. They don't want that price over 26. That tells me we get over 26. Goodbye. I think you'll see 27, just like 28, 29 will happen in a week, because they must be really loaded at 26. Now, I don't know what they're doing or why. If you're not buying gold at 2,400 or 2,500, are you buying it at 2,600? I don't know. Really doesn't make sense, but we'll see. But that's where we're at with it. So silver, yeah. Silver had been to 31. It's dropping. It's 30.04 right now. Why is it down 70 cents? Not because of a rate cut. It's a derivative. It's totally, it's like Madoff, right? You got the 15% return. Did it matter if there was interest rates going up or down on his fund? No, you made 15% because people put money in. So all the Europeans gave him millions of dollars. Here's your 15%, and So did it matter? No, because it was a Ponzi scheme. So it's the same thing here. It's a Ponzi scheme. It doesn't matter what interest rates are at. They just paint the picture to show you that they're doing something that's absolutely uncorrelated to anything. Is it really going to help to stimulate the economy? Were we that strong at 0%? If we're so strong at 0%, why did we go up to 5.5%? If we're that strong. Oh, now we want to cool the economy. And you don't think if you just get the fuck out of the way and let the market run itself, that's the best way. But if you keep trying to pinpoint it and raise the rates and do this and then, then you're fine. I heard today, they want inflation to be 2.9%, not 2%. Dude, you couldn't control that. For all the tea in China, you couldn't control inflation rate at 2% or 2.9. What are you kidding me? You can't do that. The market controls it. Just get out of the way and let the market control. That's what Adam Smith's warning is: laissez-faire. Get the fuck out of the way and let the market run. Let it be supply and demand. People want donuts, we'll make donuts. People stop liking donuts, we'll make, what do they want? Bagels. We'll make bagels instead. I mean, just let the market works perfectly. Get the fuck out of the way. And that's the problem with it. So gold, we're okay, COMEX had their little fun today. And, okay, I don't know who benefited from it. The only people that really benefited from this $50 drop are the buyers. How could you have gotten out a derivative? Did you buy the derivative at 25.48? How could you have? It's been at 25.70, 25.90, or 25.80 the whole week and a half. So there's really nothing there. So a little bit of derivative, but it's all U.S. and I'm expecting the China and the Europe to buy and get the price back close to 26. It'll be a bear to get over 26, but once we get over it, again, I don't know how the U.S. is doing the derivatives. Oh, they're printing worthless money, which is the whole problem with this whole COMEX. It's just all like Egon said. It's all paper. It's all worthless. So we want real money. And you got real money, you got nothing to worry about. What the value of the real money is not $30. Right? Right now it's at 30.02. Believe me, that's not the price of silver. People are dumb enough to believe it is because they don't understand that it's COMEX and it's derivative and it's not the real price. It's the paper bullshit price. And that's what you got to realize. What else? So I saw a good ad on Kamala Harris that she's a communist and some guy talks in Russian saying, oh, she's reading off the Communist Manifesto. She wants price fixing. She wants to give away all this bullshit. Oh, I'll give you a car if you vote for me. It's all communism. How are you going to do that? Well, you can't control the markets. You can't. How are you we're going to lower prices for the middle class. How are you going to do that? I mean, you can't do that because you got inflation. That's what raised the prices in the first place. So what are you going to do? How are you going to get rid of the inflation? No, I'm going to give all this free stuff out. And she thinks people will fall for it. I think she's going to get killed, in my opinion, in the election. Trump's kind of getting goofy too, but I don't know. I mean, it's kind of locked into what George Soros wants. So it really doesn't matter. It's just like the inflation. It really doesn't matter. It's all an illusion. So that's all we can do. What else? So what's going on in Singapore, Pat? BRICS is the only hope for a break of COMEX. Well, that's what we know. Well, COMEX is going to break anyway. The dollar's gone, like Egon said. It'll break it quicker, but that's where you need the competition. See, COMEX is a monopoly, and now there's competition for the monopoly, and the monopoly cannot stand the competition because they're using the perfect thing. They're using gold. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. And that's why the price is up near 2,600 is because of BRICS. All the BRICS banks are buying. So it's not the only hope. It's everybody buying gold because it's think of it like this. The dollar's worthless. It's monopoly money. You have to get out of it or you're going to hold something that doesn't have a value. You got 159 countries want to join BRICS. They don't want to be with the U.S. So how does the U.S. dollar have a value? So if you keep that focus and forget BRIC or COMEX, if you keep that in mind, there won't be a COMEX. There'll be, because there won't be a dollar. If nobody wants it, the value goes to zero, like Venezuela and Zimbabwe and in Germany. Nobody wanted it. It went to zero. You need a wheelbarrow. So go out and buy a wheelbarrow. But that's really what it is. It's, that's where we're headed. The boat's sinking, and that's where we're headed. You can't, they can do COMEX, but eventually Russia and China aren't going anywhere. BRICS is not going anywhere. It's not our only hope, but it's our best for right now. It's our best hope. So in October they'll announce it in 34 days, doing our countdown, and that'll be it. And they are rolling it out. You can see Russia, China need it. They need a gold-backed currency to trade. You got 159 countries want to join. They're going to need a gold-backed currency, and they're going to need a much higher gold price. So they're going to want to control the gold price, not COMEX. So there could be two. There could be COMEX in Shanghai, but if Shanghai has gold at $4,000 an ounce, but what's COMEX doing? Because they don't even have gold. So it's just going to be a farce. I'll go sell it in Shanghai. We'll give it to Pat, and he can go sell our gold for us. That's all that is. The boat seems to be sinking very slowly. Well, of course. Well, if you were on the Titanic, how fast do you think the boat sank there? The boat's sinking a lot faster than you think because gold hit 2,600 today. It couldn't get over 1,800. So you've made 800 times how many ounces. So if you have 50 ounces, you've just made from 1,800 to 2,600, $800 times 50 ounces. You just made 40 grand. That's how you got to look at it. So that's a pretty good return on your investment for something that you can't lose on. And again, the manipulation is just about gone. It did hit 25. So if they're manipulating it, why did it go up to 25.98? Yeah, they ran a late derivative when nobody was there. But okay, fine. But that's all they did. And now it's it's being countered, and they'll buy it cheaper. So you got a lot of buyers for the gold, all the central banks and BRICS. And now you got more players. It's not 6 anymore. It's not 10 anymore. It's like 22. Indonesia, Malaysia, some powerful countries are, I think South Korea wants to join. Nobody likes America. And these guys, I was watching one video and they were bitching at Blinken to get the fuck out. Like, we don't want you. I think everybody's getting tired of the U.S. Everybody's getting tired of this war. Nobody wants it. Germany doesn't want anything to do with it. Hungary doesn't want anything to do with it. Poland doesn't want anything to do with it. So eventually Europe is going to figure out we don't want anything to do with it. NATO is supposed to be peacekeeping. It doesn't look like it's peacekeeping, right? It's trying to invade Russia. And I think most of Europe's going, this isn't what I signed for. Italy now has posters that they're with Trump or with Putin. So Italy's with Putin. We know China's with Putin. We know Germany's with Putin. Germany wants their oil back from Russia. It was far cheaper than what the U.S. is selling. So the U.S. is fucking over everybody. These people in charge here are the biggest idiots. It's just like the Trump assassination attempt. Where was the guy? So I'm listening, and the senator's asking the FBI new director, well, how long did you know the sniper was on the roof? And then you let Trump go on stage. And the guy said, the guy doesn't answer the question. He goes, well, as soon as he fired, within 15 seconds, we shot at him. He got 8 shots off. Why did you let Trump go on stage if you knew there was a sniper on the roof? And then he won't answer the question. I'd throw that guy in jail. I don't know what these hearings are about with these senators grilling these people, and they're lying to them. I don't know why they just don't throw them in jail. You're lying. You took an oath to tell the truth. You're lying. Get the fuck out. Put them in jail. Then you'll stop the lying. Otherwise, they just keep lying to you. Oh, I don't know what happened. I'm looking into it. Where was why did Trump? And then Trump had another assassination attempt, I guess, at his golf course over the weekend. They're gonna keep coming until they hit him. Where's the Secret Service? Where's that? And like an idiot, he's playing golf. Dude, it's probably the easiest play. We'll get him on the 7th hole or something. I mean, it's just insanity for him to keep like ignoring that they're trying to shoot him. This is like, we know we're going to lose the election, so let's kill the guy. Well, you have George Soros. What are you worried about? He's going to fix the election anyway. The votes won't be real, like happened, and therefore, whoever George Soros wants is going to win the election. So it's how this guy's controlling everything is beyond me. He must be like mafia, right? He's got to be the godfather or whatever, and nobody can get to him. And, he's got all the money. So he is the problem. But that's the one thing, though. We'll never see CBDCs because the mafia will not want to get rid of dollars. My contention. You're in a cash business, the mafia. I sell drugs. You buy them with dollars. Everything. Nobody knows what we're doing. How can you get rid of the dollar? No, we'll pay you with my CBDC card. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. I think then we'll all know what's going on. So they'll never get rid of the dollar. Will they have a CBDC? If it's a fiat-backed currency, it'll still be worthless. Just because it's digital. Look at Bitcoin. It doesn't mean it's worth anything. I saw Bitcoin go up after the announcement. Why? Why would that value go up? Hey, these people are so stupid. Oh, okay. All of a sudden, the economy is going to get better. No, the inflation's killing it. There's no way the economy is getting better until you solve the inflation, which you can't solve unless you come out with gold. That's your only way to solve it. And you don't have any to come out with. So what these interest rates did are just, look at my left hand while my right hand, look over here while my right hand, is blowing up the economy with the inflation. You got to print $1 trillion every 90 days, 100 days for the debt. 36 trillion. That didn't go anywhere. You're going to increase spending. Well, that's a deficit. That goes to the debt. You've got all these government jobs. I'm applying for jobs I never heard of before, and they're all like government jobs. The ABC company. The fuck is this? I don't want to work for the government. Jesus Christ. So, but you've nailed it, Luke. The boat is sinking. Right? It might be sinking slowly, but it is sinking. And yeah, I'm sure you never thought you'd see, when we met at the airport, I don't think you ever thought you'd see in your wildest day 2,600 gold. So I told you that. So we will see much higher gold. Don't worry. Again, it's still, the dollar's still going to blow up, and gold is being bought by every central bank. Nobody wants the dollar anyway. So there's all these things out there. So you don't, there's like 10 things. This is nothing. This is the derivative that we know about. At least we can explain why it dropped. It is not profit. Nobody's profit taking. Gold hit 2,600. Oh, I'm going to dump it all to get back on the Titanic. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's this stupid. Not if you're into gold, you understand what it is. You're not selling it. You might sell an ounce for money, but to be used for expense, but that's about it. So anyway, anything else? I'm footballed out. I think we'll see 20,000 gold. Well, it's going to get where there won't be a price of gold. The dollar will go out. I mean, eventually this becomes worthless, and then everything's priced in this. So your ounce of silver, I'll buy your tennis racket with an ounce of silver, but I don't play tennis, or my golf clubs, or you're going to go to the grocery store and fill your cart many times with this, because this is real money that can't be printed. And so this is going out. So when this goes to zero, all the assets go to zero with it. And then maybe you'll be buying a house with a couple of these instead of some gold. We will see. Because all the prices go down to nothing. But silver's not going to go down. It's going to go up, because now everybody's demanding the gold. And it's all the free market. The demand is what triggers everything. Demand. There's no demand for money, it's worthless. There's no demand for my Canadian club, it's worthless. There is demand for gold and silver. That's why the price is going up. So if people want it, well, it's like your brother with the tickets. People want to go. He's not doing the Ohio State Akron game. He's doing an Ohio State Oregon game, and the demand's huge, so he can charge more. He can make a lot of money doing that. That's the idea. Now you've got to get him into taking that money and buying gold with it before he can. So I hope he started to buy gold, because he's going to be in for a rude awakening. There's not going to be gold available, and it's certainly not going to be anywhere under 10 grand. I don't know if this happens in October, but soon. I'd say by the end of the year, look out. I mean, we'll see some big values. So I kind of tease, like, this is my job, is buying gold. That's my job, and waiting for the gold to go up. How they don't call it an investment? These people are out of their fucking minds. What is it if you just made $800 times 50, you just made $40,000? Is that not an investment? And that's people with only 50 ounces. These guys have, thousands of ounces. They've made millions on it. So I don't know what they're talking about. Luke, once the banking system breaks, silver gold will be unattainable. Well, I don't know if it's once it breaks. It could be. I don't know when they're going to break, but very soon, gold and silver, you won't be able to get them. The only reason I can get it from my store is somebody stupid enough to sell his gold at 2,600 and thinking it's that. Well, that's it. It's not going to go any higher. And when it hits 5,000, the idiots are then, what are they going to do? So we get the concept. We know it's going much higher. So we have no idea of selling. Like I said, unless it's some bill that you have that you need, I got to sell an ounce of gold and get $5,000 and pay this bill or that bill, or something happen. Otherwise, you're not doing anything with it. And the best part, there's no interest income on it. Like if you got your money in the savings account at the bank, you're getting 3%, you make $500 and you got to add that to your tax return. Not in gold. There's nobody knows because nobody does a statement to the government. There's no 1099-G or something. It's better than gambling winnings because you win, but nobody knows you have it. So I don't see. And even now, I from what I shared, you're not even going to get 1099. You can sell 10, 20 ounces here and there and not do it. But so eventually the game plan will be all the prices will go to zero, get repriced in whatever the new currency is, and the gold and silver will be priced in gold and silver, not in dollars. And that's where you're going to 2 ounces for the house, because the house is not going to be a $500,000 house. This is very confusing. It goes to zero. Now you have an ounce of gold to the guy with the house. What's he going to do? Well, my house is worthless now. He'll freak out, and then you can walk in and Eddie Murphy him. I'll take that house. Here's an ounce of gold. And that's why when you ask, how much do I need or how much is enough? It's as much as you can eat is enough, because you got friends and family who are too stupid to buy gold, although I hope yours do. I know Bobby, he has it, but nobody else in the family understands it. I talked to the guy at the gym, and he insults me. I can't believe the guy said, "Oh, you're not an economist." I looked at him like, "What are you talking about? You don't even know me. How can you say I'm not an economist?" He says, "Well, when did you graduate?" I said, 1995. Well, that was 30 years ago. Yeah, it's from Adam Smith from the 1600s, 1700s. What is that? It still works from the 1700s. Why I got it 30 years ago, so it doesn't mean anything, or it's changed? Economics doesn't change. Supply and demand. It doesn't change. So anyway, I couldn't believe the guy said that to me. Oh, I don't believe it. So I tried showing him my Teaserking channel and said, Austrian economist. And he didn't want to, I don't want to see that. So after I just kind of laughed at the guy. Well, don't ask me for money when you're broke. I love doing that to people like that. Anyway, so the Fed put on their dancing shoes, and it's absolutely meaningless, this rate cut. Oh, all of a sudden the economy is going to explode and there's going to be jobs all over the place? No, because you didn't fix the problem. You didn't get rid of the inflation. It is not measuring certain prices year over year, saying, "Hey, look, we picked 10 prices that didn't move, and look, it's 2%." You're out of your mind. It's got nothing to do with prices. It's the value of the dollar going down in value. That's inflation. You're inflating the supply. People are so fucking stupid, but yet they think that they know. I mean, this guy Powell is an attorney. What does he know about running a central bank? He's an attorney. He's an idiot. Luke, practically no one has gold, silver, bullion. Well, we don't know. It's not something you advertise, right? So there's a few people. There's a lifeguard that I talked to. He has some, but he says he's had to sell it for stuff. I says, don't sell it. Just use your credit card or whatever. But does anybody come to you and say, I got gold and silver? See, that's the problem. Nobody really knows, except for I know, and you know what, I got some, and I know you got some, and we know Pat's got some. Bobby's got some. I think Bobby's got more silver. I'm confused by Bobby not buying a lot of gold. Like, he certainly got the money, I would imagine. So he buys some silver, but it doesn't sound like he buys enough. So you could be right there, Luke, that it might not be Bobby because he doesn't. I would have thought somebody like Bobby would, oh yeah, I got 50 ounces of gold yesterday, or if he's getting $1 million a year, he'd want to turn it into gold. So I don't know, but it could be. I don't know why he wouldn't share it with us. I mean, anyway, maybe, but it's as much as you can eat. Just keep buying At least the silver's cheap. Don't look at it like a stock. It's not Amazon or Microsoft where it goes up so many dollars a day. You have derivatives pulling it down, which you probably have in the stock market. If you notice, it goes, let's say Microsoft goes from 100 to 120. Well, there is selling at 120 back to 110. So that's probably also price fixed the same way. So anyway, this was just bullshit today. It meant nothing. It's not going to stimulate the economy. It's not going to grow. And everybody, most of the jobs they lie about them anyway. Oh yeah, we had to correct it 3 months later. Oh yeah, it wasn't 1,000,000 new jobs created. It was 100,000 new jobs created. But by then nobody knows and cares because it's 3-4 months after you made the initial thing. So anyway, excuse me. So that's what's going on. Almost at 20. So I got a feeling when this thing hits 2605 in the next couple of days, you're going to see 2,700 real quick, because I think this is their last straw. Because once it hits 3,000, what are you doing the short? What are you shorting the derivatives on? There's no point anymore. How much gold do you have to do these derivatives? Not a lot. But once it breaks, people are too stupid to understand what's going on anyway. So it's not like they're out of the dollar. I was listening to something about, I think it was that guy I hate, that Matthew guy, Egon's friend. And he was saying how banks don't buy gold. They just buy, because they make more money in stocks and bonds and annuities and stuff. They don't make money in gold. Well, they don't, because it's something you buy and hold, right? You buy the physical and put it in your pocket. Stocks, you don't. Stocks, you don't buy Amazon. It's just the paper sits out there. They do derivatives on it, and they charge you commission for buying it. Gold, you just go to the store and buy it. So it's not, like I said, it's not on the menu for the financial advisors and the banks to even talk about gold. Now, they all, like he said, they all have it, but they don't sell it. Yeah, because it's like a Mantle card. You would never recommend a Mantle card or a Rolex. You go to your financial planner, financial advisor, stockbroker, whoever you use, ask him about a Rolex. Can I buy a Rolex? He won't put you in Rolex. He won't put you in Mantle cards. He'll only put you in stocks, bonds, real estate trusts, annuities, CDs, mutual funds. That's all they'll put you in. They will not put you in any of the real assets that we talk about here. Those are the ones worth money, but they can't make money on them. So keep that in mind. But that's where the real value is. Even the house goes to zero, but it still has a value. It's in the gold currency or whatever currency they come up with. Remember, if the new currency is not backed by gold, it's worthless. Don't fuck with it. You don't want to own it. You don't want to sell your gold for it. Again, you're going to wait till the gold's priced in gold, till it's not priced in dollars. Then it's happy days. Then it's gone. I mean, then it'll be like price like the Montana rookies, 125,000. Well, it's dollars. That'll be like gold. Gold will be like that, and gold will be, I don't even know how you're going to price gold, because the purchasing power will be so strong, because there'll literally be no competition. So it's how many gold ounces do you want for your house? Believe me, it won't be more than 2 or 3, Luke. Their Mercedes, it'll be 1, and they'll have no choice because they have the inventory. They don't have money, and they need money because they built the car or they built the house. And that's where gold's going to. So you don't know how good you have it with your gold and silver. I know we look at the paper price, the dollar price, but it's all bullshit, right? You just know down the road it won't even be dollars anymore. And that's the thing. So you think, oh, it'll be $50,000. No, because there won't be a dollar to price it. So gold will then be priced in gold. And that's kind of the hard concept. What do you mean priced in gold? Well, that's what gold will buy, a tremendous amount. So I don't know that you can call it $50,000. Now, maybe in BRICS currency, it might be 25,000 BRICS dollars. So an ounce of gold would buy 1,000 BRICS, maybe that, but we'll have to see what's going on with it. But BRICS will be fine in October. That'll definitely move the needle. And like I said, they'll just come out and reset it and say it's 7,500 an ounce right now, because they need a big number. There's a lot of people, and there's more. 159 countries. They're going to need a lot higher gold price, and then Saudis and Russia wanting gold for their oil. So there'll be plenty. So yeah, that's the thing. Russia and China are just sitting on all this gold. Their dollars are losing value, and they're going, we got gold. We're fine. That's the difference. It's like us. We don't care what happens to the dollar. We got gold and silver. That's Russia and China. Oh, our dollar's going out. Oh, too bad. But we do have gold and silver. I mean, you don't know, Luke, who has gold and silver. I can tell from the people I talk to, most people. Most people who are older who have $500,000 do not have any gold or silver. They're the ones who are going to get killed. They don't understand. They think they're safe because they have $500,000. Look at your friend's got $4 million. He thinks he's safe. And the guy's about to get killed, and he won't see it coming. He doesn't understand Austrian economics, so he doesn't see that they're printing the money to zero with this huge debt and the $1 trillion every 90-day interest. You can't keep going. You can't just print, like Egon said, you can't just print money to pay the debt, because the money doesn't have value. And then as the foreign money comes in to get out of the stock market and the houses, and people don't want the treasuries, how the fuck do you think the money's going to keep the value? They just think everything's going to continue the way it was, and it's no fucking way. It's not going to continue. It's going to be Rome. It's going to, oh shit, we're Rome, and we're going out. How can we go out? We're the Roman Empire. So that's really the key to it, is they can't it can't continue. So at worst case, you're out of dollars, right? So the people with the 4 million, they're the ones who are really fucked. I mean, okay, yeah, it was 2,600, went down to 25 or 25.50 or 25.60 now. Okay, we'll be okay. It'll get to 3,000. It'll get to 10,000. It'll sure get to 10,000. Let's see where we're at. 25.52, and silver dropped under 30, which I'm surprised, because this is China doing some selling for some reason. You'd think, maybe they want to buy it, so they're lowering the price. But it's the funny thing watching comics. It drops, then it shoots up, and then all of a sudden it starts dropping and shoots up, and it goes back and forth, and it's all meaningless bullshit. Anyway, so that's about it. Got some football games posted already. Got a lot going Sunday, and that's about it. So having a good day. So Jen is excited about Italy. I told her what you said, Luke. I said, we'll rent a car and we'll drive up the coast a little bit. I'll go a half hour, an hour up and back, and have a picnic or something. We once did that in Odessa. We went around the Black Sea, and there was a oyster bar. So we got this champagne and we got oysters, and so we stayed a couple hours and then we went back. But that was kind of neat. So we'll probably do something like that. I don't want to just drive to drive. I want to drive to a place, but we'll sightsee and take our time. And hopefully it's not too expensive to rent the car there, but we'll see. Anyway, I think that's about it. So if you want football picks, you want to join the class, just go to teaserking.com and do that. Otherwise, we'll see what happens, but we know this rate hike meant absolutely nothing. It's not going to be all of a sudden the economy is good and look at the jobs that we're creating. They might say that, they'll bullshit it. And there's no way inflation is 2.9% or 2% or whatever the fuck they're saying. Just know you can't quantitatively put a percentage on the inflation rate. You print the money, you inflate the supply, it makes it worth nothing. So all you can really do is value the dollar. It's at 99% gone. It's at 1%. And maybe now it's worth 0.5%. I mean, you've got to put a value on the dollar to track it, not these price increases that are, like I said, not everybody can increase their price because nobody wants to buy their product at the higher prices. So they can't do price increases, which ruins your whole model. So it's a bunch of bullshit. All right. I'll try to do earlier classes, but I've been so busy with football. Tomorrow's Thursday. There's the Thursday night game. There's a college Thursday and the JETSs are on tomorrow. I get to see Aaron Rodgers. But it's not. I think it's on like Prime. It's not even on a normal station. I don't know what football's doing with these primes and Apple and all this shit. Well, yeah, but when you first met me, did you ever think you'd be this close to $2,600 gold? And that's where we're at now. So that's what you got to look at. Yeah, it's frustrating when it drops a little bit, but the idea is look where look where it was and look where it is. You've never seen it this high, and this is nothing. This is just starting. The life of waiting, and we just get older. Well, but we're going to get older anyway. That's life. I mean, we don't have a choice. We get older as the time goes by, and we're always waiting for something. So, but you've made the right, you're on the right boat. You're in the right boat. You got gold and silver. You've made the right play. You're out of the dollar. That's going to collapse. So from that whole standpoint, you've done the right thing. You've set yourself up. That's all you can do. And just go from there. Screw the NFL. I agree. It's, what was the point of the kickoff? What is that? That's like fucking T-ball. I mean, what is the point of it? Nobody will get hurt, but then you make Thursday night games. You injure more people with your Thursday night game than with the stupid kickoff, which very few people get hurt in the kickoff. Yeah, you're running fast, but most of the kickoffs were going out of the end zone anyway. They must have done something with the football because these guys are kicking 60-yard kicks like it's nothing. And when I watch older games, like in the 60s or 70s, Roy Girola could not kick a 50-yard kick to save his life. None of the kickers could. And now they're all nailing 55, 60-yarders like they're chip shots. I mean, what did they do to the ball, right? Made it like a golf ball. They made it smaller and more condensed, but it's just stupid as hell. All right, I'm going to go www.teaserking.com if you want. Buy the locks. I got one lock so far, but I'm spelling more, and I'm getting close. So I've got the teams figured out, and now got the games, and now it's just which games do I want to bet and how much. So anyway, I will see you tomorrow. Well, tomorrow morning will be football and then swim, and then usually if I get up early enough, or maybe, because I've been doing class at like 10:30, 11. I used to go to the pool about 11 and then do one class and then do the other, but that's draining on me. So we'll see. But anyway, I'll try to get on earlier for this. All right. Have a good night, everybody. The rate cut did absolutely zero. You didn't fix the problem, which is the inflation, which you can only fix by coming out with gold-backed currency. That's the only fix to your inflation. Otherwise, you're fucked. Interest rates didn't fix it. Lowering interest rates is causing more inflation, which should make the gold price go even higher. All right. I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good day. Goodbye. Thank you very much.